We have a series today, right?
Yeah, we have a series that is going to be looking at your skincare. We'll have different segments throughout the morning, so stay tuned through all of them.
So this morning, how to protect the skin on your babies, your kids, and young adults. Joining us now is Master Esthetician and one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in person in my life, Susan Cummins.
Oh my goodness gracious! Good morning.
What an intro!
Thank you for being here.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here.
You've been on us to keep our skin protected, but babies, it's really, really important to keep them because they're so sensitive, right?
Well, you know, babies, they've got that fresh, new, beautiful skin, and an ounce of prevention is really important. And Washington State has a high level of incidence with regards to sun exposure, even more so than California. So it's really important to think about them as they're out there in the sunshine. The sun is coming out. That orb will come out, folks. So let's look at what we have here. So, you know, babies, when they're out, they're playing, how many times do we actually stop and think, did we reapply? When was the last time we applied? So you got to sort of look at, okay, let's make life easy for us, right? Is this not the cutest thing? So this is UPF 50. Now the difference between UPF and SPF is basically UPF is for clothing, okay? So this is by Bar, and it's a wonderful, wonderful place that I discovered that has everything from travel clothes to baby clothes to hats to products. It's very soft, cotton and bamboo.
And the best, that's why it's so soft.
Yes.
Because the last thing you want to do is when your person is this small and they're fast, is have to try to put stuff on them.
Chase them down to put stuff on them.
And I've used the spray sunscreen in the past. Is that not a good idea?
Well, you know something, you need to know that baby skin is very, very fragile, and it's also very sensitive. So a lot of times when you have sprays, Neutrogena is great, but these tend to be chemical sunscreens, and chemicals tend to be a little more irritating for that fresh skin or people that are very sensitive. So you sort of have to know the difference between chemical versus physical sunscreens. So this is actually a physical sunscreen. It's called Think Baby, and I love it because it is free of chemicals, it's free of smells, it's also free of you know, those products like parabens and PABA and all of that as well. Find something that's going to be sensitive to your child. Really important. And also reapply if you're not also combining it with these type of products.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So reapply how often? Like every 15 minutes or so?
Well, no, not quite that much.
I'm the one spraying the chemicals on already.
You know, they say about every hour to an hour and a half that they're out.
I can handle that.
And they're exposed. And also you have to know the difference. When you're dealing with chemical sunscreens, you have to put it on at least 15 to 20 minutes ahead of time because it takes time.
Why is that?
Well, okay, the difference between chemical and physical, I'm going to make it as easy as possible. Physical, you reflect away. Okay. Chemical, it absorbs the UVA and UVB radiation. So it absorbs it. It then
traps it.
Converts it into heat, and disperses it.
I had no idea.
Yeah, but then it's also, you know, for people that are sensitive, you got to be really careful.
Right, because we're absorbing it as well.
Exactly.
The chemicals that's in there.
Exactly. Okay. So, you know, physical is a little bit better, I think, for children.
All right. So, do we want to talk about adults right now, or should we save that?
We can talk about adults, or we can save that. One thing I do want to talk about is babies' heads. You know, they don't have the hair. They don't, and so you've got to be careful. So, I mean, even little teeny tiny babies, is this not the cutest thing? And this is SPF 50. And Bar, you know, they guarantee it for life. So the protection of SPF 50 or UPF 50 is for life. So you really have to look at it. Is that not the cutest thing? It is very, very soft. They have them in all sorts of colors and stripes. And then, you know, the little sun hats. How many babies do we see out in these little sun hats?
I got to make sure. You gotta have
you gotta have the strap,
or they will throw it right off.
Exactly.
It's got terry cloth in there. That's
so again, UPF 50, really, really important. Protect your children. Also, you know, if you think your child is really, really sensitive, do a little test spot first. Do a dry run before you go out, because the last thing you want is for, you know, your child's skin to become inflamed and itchy, and then you're dealing with a whole another thing.
And preventative is the first step in skincare, right?
You know, an ounce of prevention. If you're looking down the way, which we're going to talk about, if we're looking at our 30s and 40s, what we do when we're young is really, really important. And people ask me all the time, what is the best, you know, anti-aging cream that you have? And I'm like, Sunscreen, sunscreen, sunscreen.
Yeah.
And that is going to, because sun can age us 70% faster.
Wow.
So we don't want to get there too fast.
Yeah.
And when
Let's
it's out,
slow
we want to
down.
be in it.
We wanna
you know?
be in it.
We want to be in it when
we
it's
don't
out,
see
so.
that yellow orb thing up there. We just don't see it.
We got a lot more from you coming
Okay,
up. We're
sounds
running out
good.
of time, but tell us what we can expect in the next 2 hours.
Well, you know, we're going to talk about what happens as we age, what happens when we hit our 30s, what happens when we're in our 40s, 50s, and beyond.
And what we should be using.
And what we should be using exactly.
Exciting.
There you go. Doesn't it make you want to have babies?
Think about it.
My dog